So hi, I'm Elysia. I'd first like to thank my supervisory team, Hoss, John and Wadia for their help. So the project that I've been working on is can pasture species produce inhibitors that reduce fertiliser nitrogen losses? So the 4 species that I looked at were cocksfoot, ryegrass, tall fescue and plantain. But I first wanted to just give a quick overview of the key parts of the nitrogen cycle that are relevant to this research. For a little bit of a kind of background to the study. So urea is a common nitrogen fertilizer applied to fields, and that gets rapidly broken down into ammonium, which is positively charged and retained in the soil via urease, which is an enzyme produced by various soil microorganisms. So ammonium is retained in the soil, but it can be converted into nitrate via nitrification. And nitrate is negatively charged and is often leached from the soil. And this leads to a variety of environmental issues such as waterway eutrophication and human health concerns. So already there's a variety of synthetic inhibitors that act on both urease and nitrification to kind of slow this process down. So for example, agrotane can inhibit urease. But this research is looking at if plants can naturally produce some inhibitors to slow down the nitrogen cycle. Cool. So first of all, I did some tissue cultures and studied a variety of things there. So that's what this slide is on. I looked at the effect of leaf extracts and root exudates on urease activity. In the case of the leaf extracts, I found all 4 plant species significantly increased urease activity. So this picture here on the left is a photo of one of the leaf extract experiments where the ammonium has been dyed yellow. And this treatment here is the urease plus extract. And you see there's quite a bit more ammonium in this treatment than the others. However, when I did the root exudate, I found that only plantain and cocksfoot significantly increased urease activity, while ryegrass and tall fescue had no significant effect. Also in tissue cultures, I tested if plants can convert ammonium to nitrate by themselves. So this is in a sterile environment, so there's no kind of outside influence by soil microorganisms. And this showed that both cocksfoot and tall fescue seem to be able to convert ammonium to nitrate by themselves, whereas plantain and ryegrass either can't or do so only a very small amount. Cool. So yeah, the previous data that I've shown has been on tissue cultures, and then this slide is on greenhouse experiments. So again, I analysed the soil content for urease activity, and this suggested that applying urea fertiliser stimulates urease activity in the soil. So the green ones are where fertiliser was applied, and blue ones are where fertiliser wasn't applied. And again, kind of similar to the tissue culture results, we found that cocksfoot and plantain significantly increased urease activity compared to their non-fertilizer control, whereas ryegrass and tall fescue had no significant difference. I also analysed the soil ammonium content. This is kind of an indication of if the plants kind of inhibiting nitrification. And in this case, plantain had significantly higher ammonium soil content. And then finally, I analysed the leachate from each of the greenhouse pots. So that's what I'm collecting here. And this is representing the whole nitrogen cycle. So going from urea to ammonium and then potentially ammonium to nitrate, which is lost from the soil. And kind of a key finding from this was that plantain had the lowest amount of nitrate leaching in the greenhouse experiments. So kind of the key finding from all of this research was that even though plantain does increase urease activity, it also seems to be the best at reducing nitrate leaching, which is kind of the key part of this research. So you can see this both from how much nitrate is leached from the soil and from how much ammonium content there is in the soil. So this kind of suggests that plantain is converting urea to ammonium and then doing something to keep that ammonium in the soil rather than letting it being converted into nitrate. So one possible management practice would be to kind of mix seeds, so plantain, into pastures to reduce nitrate leaching. And then in the future, it would be good to apply some N15 labeled urea to see if this increased soil ammonium content translates into more or less nitrogen uptake by the plants. Thanks for listening.
Questions? Well,
some seed companies that are selling plantain suggest that different cultivars of plantain that they're not all the same and being able to reduce nitrogen leaching. Do you know which cultivar you use?
Yeah, this was Ponic plantain, is the one I studied, but we haven't looked at any other varieties.
I was wondering if these plants accumulate nitrate, that could be as bad a thing for the animals feeding on them as the leachate. So are there any plans to actually look at the nitrate in the plants themselves, if they're nitrate accumulators?
Yeah, so that would be the next step with the N15 labeled urea, would be to see how much nitrate is being uptaken by the plant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next step.
Okay. Thank you very much.